Morning everybody, welcome back. It's finally stayed warm for a while. It's really drying up. One of my neighbors is actually planting, but today we're going to be doing a little bit of maintenance. We still have to pick up our seed, and MFA needs to come down and do a little bit of spraying before we can really get this stuff in the ground. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to pull the tractor out so we got more room to work, and we'll see what we're messing with. Today I'm actually going to pull the planter out, and we're going to go ahead and fold out the wings and everything and get it set on the ground so I can get to the boxes a whole lot easier. So I have new door seals and new bean discs to put in today, and well, the 3 bushel fiberglass boxes, there's 23 of them, and after you get through a couple they start to get a little heavy. So let's see what we can do here. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to hook up the hydraulics so I can actually pick up the cylinder and the tongue and get it lined up right with the drawbar, so I can go ahead and put my pin in it and hook up to it. I don't really have a good way to hold the phone here, so I'm going to do the best I can. So these are my 2 main lines, and we did a pretty poor job of marking them last year to see what went where. But I'm pretty sure it's going to go something like that. I've got 2 more hoses there for the hydraulic markers, and this here's for my vac fan. We won't actually hook it up. We'll go ahead and hook the markers up to make sure that they're not leaking. We fixed a couple hydraulics leak last year, but here's the tongue cylinder I was talking about, and it'll actually pick up the tongue so I can get it on the drawbar. We got power to the fold box. That's good news. Let's see if we can get this tongue to raise. Can't really tell, but I did get the tongue to pick up. It's really hard to do without both hands because I have to press the button on the fold box and I have to work the hydraulic lever at the same time, so all my hands are kind of tied up. Let's see if we can get just a fuzz closer to it. That way I can go ahead and put my hitch pin in. There. Alright, bear with me. That's a little better. See what we can do. Too far. Now we got a hydraulic leak. Hang on a minute. One of my lines popped out. Let's try it again. Oh, so gently. Folks, I think that'll do it. Let's go put that pin in. Yep, if I had a whopping stick, I could probably get it in there. It's not a very big one, it's covered in concrete. Let's try it. Maybe I should just pull the tractor forward. Fret not, I found a bigger whopping stick. That still ain't one to go in there. This is what harder than it looks with one hand. Okay, had it successfully in there. Now, let's try and pull it out. Well, run into a problem. This thing has 6 lift wheels, and I can only get 5 of them to move. So the 6th one here, it's got these stops in there for whenever you store it over the winter. Well, I can't get the stop out, so I can't bring it all the way down. So I'm gonna have to physically get a jack, and I have to spread that so I can get that stop out of there. Well, I got it out of there. Kind of primitive, but it works. Just had to bleed a few hydraulics. But now we can continue what we're doing here. And hopefully we can get the jack back out of there. There we go. We're in good shape. I remember now that that happened last year too. So now I got the stop out. I got my fold box in plant mode so I can go ahead and lower it. Once I lower it, I'm going to hold it lowered and I'm going to reset the master cylinder that's right behind them 2 vacuum gauges. So let's make sure it all goes down. Beautiful. You got to reset it. Try it one more time. Hold. Up we go. All right, let's get out there and start taking some boxes apart. So you'll notice I didn't set the planter all the way on the ground, and that's because I do have 6 closing wheels I need to replace, like that one right there. And I'm just replacing the whole closing wheel. If it dragged a little bit, it needs a new bearing in or something, I'm just replacing the whole closing wheel. I'm not gonna mess with it. They're cheap enough, it's just easier. So as you can see, these boxes are not light. So the pieces we're going to replace are in here. And for those of you that don't know, this is a vacuum meter, and I think they're really simple. So we're going to replace them. Looks like this is one of the door seals I replaced. So what we're going to do, pop this plate out of here, and voila, it just pops right out. The brushes and everything are all still in good shape. It's not full of a bunch of crud. So let's go grab the new parts. So this is the old disc, and I'm sure you can see the wear on it. Obviously you'd be able to see it a whole lot better if it was in person, but this is the old one. This is the one we're going to replace. This is the new one, and I'm sure you can see just a night and day difference. And they're super easy. Just pop it in there and try and hold the meter with one hand here. That spring in there definitely holds them in place really good. This is really difficult with one hand. There we go. And it's in there. Nice, new, ready to have soybeans run through it. Now these door seals are super easy too, and they require a little bit more finesse, so I went ahead and took my gloves off. There's just a channel in here, and they pop out of there. They're held in there pretty good. You can see they just pop right out. Like so. And I usually just kind of tap and get most of the dust out, because it does get full of dust and dirt and everything else. And these are already preformed, and you just gotta work them back in there. And sometimes that's easier said than done, but in the grand scheme of things, it's pretty simple. So just work them back all the way back in the groove. That's one of them things that's really difficult to mess up, but if I say that enough times, I'm bound to mess one up. Just like so. And voila, we have a new door seal. Putting it back together, it's just as easy as taking it apart. Clip the door on there. And you stick it on there like so. And we are, pop that back on there, and bam, we're done. Now we just got like 24 more to go. Went ahead and got this closing wheel off here, and I'm sure you can see this one's pretty simple, just like the meters were. I mean, that's all the hardware there is right there. So, but this is a major problem. I'm sure you can hear that. It's not what it's supposed to do. Obviously, nothing. This one's solid, brand new, and it's probably even going to spin better. So let's get this thing back on there. So these are actually really easy to get on and off. It's literally just a nut and a bolt. As long as you can get the nut and the bolt to come loose, we had one down there that would not come loose, they just thread right on. And I'm trying to get a good video, but it's extremely difficult to do when you only have two hands. I'm sure you guys have seen a lot of videos of people using impacts and everything else, and I do have impacts. I have a very nice set of Milwaukee's, but it's in fact not here, it's in fact at work. Because believe it or not, I do have a full-time job. But that is way better. No noises, nothing. I think we're going to be very happy with it. I think that about does it for the planter today. So let's fold this bad boy up and let's get her back in the shed. Ah, beautiful. So this is another one of those things where it's just difficult to do with two hands, so I hope you guys can see good enough, because I have to use the buttons on my fold box here and my remote levers. So all the way up, hitch, raise the hitch up, straight all the way, and we fold it up. She'll be coming around the mountain when she comes. Pick the hitch up. Pick our wing wheels up, and beautiful. I don't know how much of that you guys could see, but now we got it back here in the shed. We don't want to get ahead of ourselves here. I'm only in A1 at an idle, but this thing takes up a lot of room. So let's see if we can get her in there. I'm going to hop out and make sure I'm not too close to the old planter in the back. Nope, we're good. Back in reverse. Just going to see if we can get the front end over just a fuzz. Wasn't very far, but that's far enough. That gets everything in the shed. Now, we could probably go ahead and just leave it hooked up, but I'm going to go ahead and take the hydraulics off, because sometimes that quick hitch on the 3-point will want to bleed a little bit, and it puts stress on all that hydraulics. So let's go get this unhooked. Before we go, I would like to add, I've had a couple people ask me how the tractor does with the planter, and I'd like to address it in this video before we go. So the tractor is a 1981 4640. The planter is a 1997 John Deere 1780. It's a Maxi-Merge Plus with the vacuum meter. The gentleman I bought it from pulled it with a 4640, just like we got. And I had to put the Power Beyond on there to run the vacuum meters, and it pulls it great. There is no lack of horsepower. Trust me. I mean, it does not even know it's back there. It does a fantastic job. The thing where it really gets me, though, is that planter calls for 20 gallon per minute just to pick it up. Like I said earlier in the video, it's got 6 pickup wheels, and those are big cylinders. Them things are heavy. It calls for 20 gallon per minute. That tractor's hydraulic pump is rated for 19 gallon per minute. It picks it up, it runs everything. I never dropped any vacuum, anything like that. It did a fantastic job with that. It does a fantastic job planting, but it just picks up slow on the end rows. So several times I've actually had to get to my end row and stop and get the planter picked up enough that it wouldn't put down any more seed and make my turn, stop again, drop the planter, and go. I never had any problems. None of my seed tubes ever got clogged up with any dirt or anything like that. So what I think I'm going to do, I've been looking into an auxiliary hydraulic pump that runs off the PTO. With my line of work, I think I can get the tank, the hoses, any kind of fittings I need. The only thing I'll actually have to get separate from another manufacturer would be the pump itself. And I really don't need a whole lot. It's got 2 vacuum motors on it. They call for 3 to 5 gallon per minute a piece. So maximum, I mean, we're talking 10 gallons per minute. So if I can get a vacuum pump that runs 12, maybe even 20, you know, I might have to put an inline relief in there just to be safe. But I think that'll really help, because just sitting here, just picking the planter up, picking it down, it picks up 3 times faster than it does when you're running the vacuums and you're out there in the field and it's full of seed. So I think we're probably good to go there, and I think that's what I'm going to end up doing. Shouldn't even cost too much. I've seen some of these kits that are complete. They come with the tank and the valves and the pump and all that. They want $12,000 for these kits, and I'm really going to try and do it for under $2,000, and I really think I can do it. Well guys, that'll about do us this time. We made some good progress on the planter. Not that really anything was wrong with it. It just needs a little bit of maintenance, and right before we actually get ready to plant, which it won't be long looking at the weather, I'll come down here and I will grease everything, and I'll make sure that everything on the planter is greased, because there is a lot of grease zerks on that thing. And I've seen a lot of grease worms tear up a lot of equipment, and it's a lot of stuff that can be avoided. I appreciate you tuning in. Hopefully I got more videos to come, and I hope everybody's liking the videos, and I really appreciate everybody that's liked it, subscribed it, and gave me some views. I'll see you next time. Thank you.